Hi everybody, it's Bernita from Trestle Glen Treasures. It has been such a long time and I've really missed coming on and hanging out with everybody. As you come in, say hello. Let me know where you're coming from if it's the first time you've joined me. I'm going to pull up this on my Facebook page and see. I want to make sure I can get comments because I'm going to actually tilt you down. But I wanted to, geez, I've been, making spring stuff, and a lot of people, seem to be making some of their own things to making their, wreaths and their arrangements look more unique. And I want to show you how to make these little peeps. Aren't these so cute? And they're so easy. And you can do a whole bunch with them. But it's been so long. Gosh, weather has been crazy around here. We woke up this morning and we had freezing rain, snow, winds. Now the sun is out and it's windy as crap, So it's like, and I'm not seeing any comments. So if you are joining me, please comment, say hello. Hi, Christine. Oh, thank you. At least I know then it's working. But it's crazy. The sun is out. I mean, I probably should get out. It's cold and windy, and my dog is like freaked out about it. But weather's been so weird. And like I said, it's been a long time, and you're probably wondering, I'm not coming on here to tell you why I haven't been on. But, you kind of pick your things, right? And the end of, 2018 was like the worst. My mother had a major fall. Infections one after the other, and that was like my busiest season, and then trying to get ready for Christmas. And you just have to kind of figure out what you can do and what you're not going to do. And Facebook Lives was one that it just took more energy from me, and it was like, I just can't do it. I gotta focus on my business and filling orders and taking care of my mom. So that's where Facebook just kind of went to the ways, or Facebook Lives, I should say. So I'm hoping to kind of come back and do some fun things, but I wanted to show you again. I want to show you how to make some of these peeps. I've had a lot of fun doing these, if you can kind of see. And you can make these. These are out of just felt, Oh, thanks, Christine. You know what? It just was crazy. And, it's been even more of a slow recovery for my mom. So, and I don't think she'll recover fully. She was really fully dependent on me for a lot of things, and it's even more so. She has slowed down a lot. So it just, like I said, you have to kind of pick where you're going to put your time and attention. And, it's had to be on creating and just taking care of her and not doing Facebook Lives. And just because, for me, they take a lot out of me. I don't know about you. I'm an introvert, but I could be finished with a Facebook Live and then I could have to go take a nap afterwards. That's almost like, if you're going to a group. Gosh only knows, when I used to work, even in real estate and home staging, I would give talks. You're in groups where there's a lot of people, and I would leave and be wiped out and just like, oh, so, go figure the energy that even comes through the phone or whatever, I mean, it's just like, oh my gosh, how hard it is. Well, yeah, it is. And I'm just doing kind of the best I can. It is what it is. But I thought, what, I've missed connecting with everybody on lives. I'll watch, and, I've just kind of, it's usually my downtime, and I don't really get on and chit chat a lot, but in other people's lives, I just don't get into the feed and carry on conversations. But I wanted to connect with everybody here to show you how to make these adorable little peeps. Yeah, thanks, Christine. I appreciate your understanding. A lot of people aren't aware of, they don't know my story, and even how I ended up becoming a full-time caregiver to my mother, because it wasn't something that I planned when I moved across country. I was kind of just following a nudge, a guidance, I guess, if you want to call it that. And after getting here, it was like, what the frick, because it wasn't anything that I had anticipated at all. So, we'll never know, but here I am. So, right? So, to the peeps. You've never done a live to chicken. You know what? a lot of people are afraid, and you know, I mean, it's and that's okay. You don't have to get on and really do a demonstration. You can just get on and say, hello, I'm, you know, Christine. This is what I do for my business. I'm not afraid to get on. I would get up and talk in front of fairly large groups. Like I said, in real estate and home staging. And, you know, in my business that I had for many years, I was a massage therapist. So I did a lot of one-on-one, and it was always small, and I worked for doctors. So it was always smaller, intimate. But when I was in real estate and home staging, then there was larger audiences, and basically especially doing home staging, then you talk to a lot of realtors in larger things, letting them know what home staging could do, how it could benefit their customer, you know, the buyer or the home sellers, and how, you know, it just helped. Anyways, long story short, I'm not afraid to get on the camera. That's not my issue, my you know, at all. And so my issue is, it's the preparation, it's the setup, it's the takedown. I don't have a space that I can leave up, you know, my tripods or the lights or, you know, things like that, to where it's like, oh, let's do a live, and I can just get behind the table or, you know, flip on the camera, unless I'm just doing, you know, something like this. It's a setup and it's a takedown, because this is my live space, work space, and I'm in the basement. So it's like, that's the grudge, and maybe call it lazy. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's like, ugh, do I have to? So anyways, enough of that. Let me show you how to do these. Now, felt, this is what I did with felt, and I stitched it on the outside. Now, if you want to do fabric, felt, what else would you do? Fabric or felt, you know. And if you want a sewing machine, my sewing machine's still in storage. So you could sew it and turn it inside out and then have a nice seam on the outside. You could do all that, right? But I didn't. I'm winging it, hand stitching it. I want to say it's a slip stitch. I think that's what it's called. I had to even ask my mom. Her and I both kind of like, oh, I think so. And then just stuffed it, and then, you know, stitched it back up and used some puff paint and embellishments, and it was like too cute. Painted some of this. So I'm going to show you, and we can just chit chat. You know, if you're just joining me, say hello, share the video, because I'm sure other people want to learn how to make Peeps for their, you know, you can make them small, stick them in a little basket for your grandkids, your kids, put them in your wreaths, put them in your arrangements. You know, think of something like this, and you got a little Peep in there. I've got a wreath that somebody bought, you know, this type of Peep that's going to go in it. So share the video. I would love it. It helps my small business, and I would be 100 times grateful. So I'm going to turn this down, but let's chit chat. What's everybody else up doing today? We've had so much funky stuff. I'm going to try to pull up my stuff here on my page, and hopefully I can see comments. So talk to me. It's been so long. Let me turn this down. I'm going to pull up this on my... Okay. So you can see I've got just the felt, a 10 by 8 by 10 felt. Okay. And the little Peep I printed this off of, just went and looked on Google, searched images, free images for a Peep. And I want to say this was the standard size. Now you can scale it down, probably make it smaller if you want to. I guess if they got much smaller, they might be harder. Just depends on how, you know, you're sewing and what you can do with that. And you can blow it up, which I did. That's where I got the larger Peep. This is probably the biggest. You could probably get a little bit bigger on a 8 by 10 sheet, but not much. So this was, I think, 150%, and this was the 100%. So just kind of, I'm going to put these in here. So if people come on, they're wondering what I'm doing. Can you guys see those? So you just, real easy, you know, and I've got a different stage of it, so you're not going to have to go, oh my gosh, she's going to like, I'm just taking a pen, use a pencil, whatever you want to do, outline it. And I've been actually doing some of these shapes on, using cardboard and using some of the quilting batting and covering it with fabric. I did it with Easter eggs. I did it with hearts for Valentine's Day. I've had a blast, you know, and it's really, it's fun to break up if you're making something else and you want just a change. If you're anything like me, I get bored. I get bored quickly. That's probably been one of my issues, that I've bounced around from creative stuff to creative stuff. I don't know if it's a problem, if you consider it a problem, but I've had, you know, family say, if you just stuck with one thing, maybe you would have success with it. Maybe so. Maybe they're right. I don't know. But I like to change it up and do different stuff. So once you get that out, okay, and you're going to cut them out. So, can you see? Hopefully I'm doing it. And I do have another one that I've got the step. I just want to kind of get on and show you the slip stitch. So you're not going to have to suffer through all the sewing before I do anything else. This weekend is full. Can you believe how fast February has gone by? Oh my gosh. Where is it? It's going to be, I mean, I'll just be grateful. Well, say spring is here, and it's not the date spring, right? I mean, I don't know. I can't remember exactly what date spring it turns spring, but just some warmer weather. I mean, I'll be going back to California the end of March. And they even had some snow up in northern California, way north, up near Redding, which is not usual, although Shasta Mountain is not far, but still I forget how many feet above, how high up in elevation they are, but rarely. I mean, Shasta Mountain gets covered with snow, but Redding doesn't. So I'm looking forward to going and seeing my kids, seeing some friends, having a break. I'll be there about, 9-10 days. So I just cut that out. See? Simple. And like I said, this is the smallest one that I got. Just download it. Yeah. If you're just joining me, please come in and say hello. Like I said, I haven't seen or talked to anybody. These Peeps have been crazy. I don't know if anybody's been able to find them anymore. Some people were buying them at Party City, and then they ran out. And I don't know where else they may have had them, but, you know, there's a few people making signs for them, but I thought, these are really cute. You could make them and even put them in the Easter baskets for kids, you know, the little, and, you know, they got a little plush toy that didn't cost you but a few cents for felt, and you can add, you know, adding trim to it if you want, embellish it like I did, put a bow, but, you know, a couple bucks in your time, which goes really quick to do it, all right? You're painting and watching good. It's like if you can multitask. Usually when I'm watching a live, I'm usually doing a book fold. I can't, if I want to watch, I'm too busy, like if I'm doing a wreath or something like this, I can listen. But if I want to watch what you're doing, now like painting, see, I'd want to watch what you're doing, especially if it's something new that I enjoy. All right, so I'm going to take a needle and thread, and I just found my mom has, I'm glad I didn't give it away. I went through a couple of her craft drawers that she didn't use anymore. She used to embroider, knit, crocheted. She did all that stuff and had a boatload of embroidery thread. And I was going to give it away. I was going to see, I don't know if it was a nursing house. Anyways, I hadn't done it yet. I had a big box of stuff. So this is 6 thread, and I'm going to actually pull it in half and just use 3 threads. But I was going to give it away, and I probably still will. but I may just keep out some. See, this just separates. You don't need 6 threads to do that. But I'm going to keep some of the thread and some of the stuff she had. Gosh, what did I do with that? I think I left it up in the drawer. She's got some really old, like, glitter, you know, where you could buy the glitter. Now it's, what do they call it? But it's that big chunky glitter that you used to buy, you know, probably back in the 70s, where you bought it, you know, it wasn't the real fine glitter, but she's got like gold and red, and so there's some stuff that she actually had that I thought, okay, I'm holding on to some of that. No sense in giving it all away, but there are some things that she just had that I wouldn't use. Tons of embroidery and knitting needles, although I did keep a set of knitting needles for, what did I can't remember what I did. I used this for, but I do use this to poke the fabric, not the fabric, the stuffing into these things. I forget what else I was using it for, but I kept a couple things like that. All right, so as I'm babbling on, I'm just gonna put a knot in here. So I'm just gonna put, you know, kind of match up the Peeps sides, and I think a couple times I had to just trim a little bit. Make sure if you got ink or anything like that, that it's towards the inside, so you're not having any ink, or trim it off. But it stretches a little enough to where, you know, it lines up pretty good. And I leave the bottom part open, so I kind of start up a little ways so I can stuff it with the stuffing. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. So I go, if you don't know what a slip stitch is, and if I make calling this the wrong thing, do tell me, because I don't remember what it's called. But I go through the inside, but the upper top one, just so I can hide the knot, so it's not on the back. And you could do it, I suppose, if you're going to put this in something. It's not going to make any bit of difference. Okay, so let me just show you what. Oops. All right. Okay, so I've got it in here, and I'm sorry if this is as far as I can go, other than getting it right up close to the camera. So a regular stitch, so you're just if you're going to stitch it up, and I'm going to try to do it as neat as I can. So I'm going to go bring the thread to the back, come through the back through the front, right? Pull it, and before pulling it tight, okay, I'm going to go back through it, okay? And this is going to create kind of a, it's like not just just a regular stitch, but it creates a little bit of a slip stitch. I want to say that's what it is. So I'm going to go through, and then I pull. So once I get going on it, you'll see. Okay, let's see if I can, and if the light's too bright, I'm sorry. So again, I'm going to go through the back, through the front, pull it, and before I pull it too tight, as you can kind of see, or, well, hopefully you can see, right? I'm going to go through it. Blanket stitch. That's what it is, Christine. Oh, thank you. I'm sitting here going slip stitch. A blanket stitch. That's what it is. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. I'll have to tell my mom, because I couldn't remember what it was called, and I never bothered to look it up. Blanket stitch. Okay, so you're going to do a blanket stitch. I tried to keep them close enough together and small stitches, so it, you know, I wasn't going to have it show up too much, and I don't want the stuffing to come through. So you can kind of see how that is. Can you see? Yes? No? Okay. So again, I start, because I leave the bottom part open. Okay. And I just keep going around. Go through the loop and then pull it. Now, again, you could sew it if you have a sewing machine. You could, you know, do a rough, leave the edges rough, right? It's hard to see. I know, is it because of the light? Let's see if I can put it. Can you see? Yeah, because you got there's the loop, and then you just, you know, bring the needle through. It's hard to see, I'm sorry. Let's see, I'm gonna try to hold it up against something. But you got the stitches, so the blanket stitch. So if you're familiar with that, or you can just stitch it, you know, stitch it closed, you know, just in, up and around, up and around. Okay, so I don't want to bore you to death with that. Okay, so I'm not going to. So you would continue on, go all the way around, line up your seams, do that. Okay. And so you can see, if anybody's wondering, just coming on, I'm making little peeps, showing you how to make the peeps. Hi everybody, say hello if you're just coming in and joining me. Hi Adrian, how are you? Thanks for joining. We're doing some peeps. Peeps to add to your decorations, your wreaths. Make them for your kids, Easter baskets, grandkids, Easter baskets. So I'm going to jump from the yellow one because I've already got this all done. Well, mostly. So then you're just going to buy polyfill stuffing. You see, got a big bag. I want to try to get a bunch of this out. Hey everybody, you can share, well, please share this if you think anybody else would be interested in learning how to make a cute peeps out of felt. I'd appreciate it. It's been so long since I've been on a Facebook Live, I think people have probably forgotten about me. Hi Charlene, thanks for joining me. West Virginia. All right, so just take the opening, and we're gonna stuff the peep. And that's what I saved. Like I was saying, I saved some of my mom's craft stuff. I had gone through, and she didn't have a ton of stuff, but she sure did have a lot of knitting needles and crochet needles, and gosh, what else she got? You know, the oh, what's it called? It's a oh my gosh. Well, there's several tools that she got, and she actually had an easy bow maker. Can you believe it? Okay, so I'm just using this to push the foam into the bunny's ears. She actually had a easy bow maker. So I'm like, I'm hanging on to that. You never know when you're going to need two, right? Thanks, Charlene. Maybe I'll just use my finger for this instead. For right at the moment. I don't want to poke anything through the stitching. So I tried to keep the stitches close. But yeah, she has an easy bow maker. And so that's all I use. But I'm trying to get some of these made. It would be fun to have, the little baskets, the strawberry baskets. Hi, Lynn. Thanks for joining me. The strawberry baskets, and I want to say I seen somebody, I haven't seen them out, somebody had them. Oh, but wouldn't that be fun to make, I don't know if I would do much more smaller than this. To me, it would be harder for me to handle. But like the little strawberry baskets, and get kind of the traditional colors. What is it? The yellow, pink, purple, and is it blue? Right? And like put them in one of those little strawberry baskets with the, Easter basket grass. See, that would be so fun. So I've got a bunch of wreaths going out tomorrow. I'm waiting on a custom sign that I'm having made for a custom order. That's stressful, you know, when you've got something custom. You're making a custom and then you're waiting for somebody else to do a custom. That's like, hi, Francis. Thanks for joining me. 20 years, yeah, right, Charlene? I think that's she's probably had it at least. You never used it. I don't know if she ever used hers either. I don't know. She wasn't a big into crafts per se. She did, you know, remember the plastic mesh, hard plastic mesh pieces that you could make Christmas ornaments with? We went through a whole thing of that at one point. She still had a bunch of that stuff left. So I don't know how much she used it. But at least you had it, right? I mean, it's not like, well, it might be harder to find now. I don't know. That's the owners are probably going, what the what? As Lisa Kellum would say. You know, it's like, right? The people that owned it, all of a sudden there's this surge of purchases for the Easy Bow Maker. Like crazy, right? So, hey, if anybody has seen, and I don't necessarily want to buy strawberry containers, but if you've seen any of those, what look like those strawberry containers that you buy brand new, I was just at Michael's, and I didn't see anything. Thanks, Darlene. It's felt, just regular 74-cent felt. If you watch the replay, you'll see what I did. Very easy peasy. But aren't they cute? Look at that. The yellow ones. Felt, and if you got a sewing machine, yeah, well, it was the needle point. It was, but you use the hard plastic pieces, and we made a bunch of Christmas ornaments. What else did she make? She made tissue box. She actually has a couple things. She had a Christmas card holder that, oh gosh, she made back before I moved away from home, and that's been, so you figure maybe 40 some years ago that she had made it, right? And so she still has that. And what else did she still have? That, I think, a toy or a tissue box container. Okay, so I think I got this pretty well stuffed. Okay, so I'm just going to go back and do the blanket stitch. as I was calling it the slip stitch. So it's a blanket stitch. And that's where you're coming in, and then you, if you're not familiar with it, and I'm sorry if you can't see it, I just don't, you bring the needle from the back to the front, and then you go through, before you pull the thread tight, you go back through it. So you come out on the back side, and then you just pull. It just gives it, you don't have to do that. Sharing the plastic canvas, yes, absolutely. So doing a blanket stitch, you don't have to do that. You can certainly use a sewing machine. You can just do a regular, just stitch it up, you know, do it neatly. But I'm just adding, and if you can't see, I'm really sorry, and hopefully it doesn't get blurry. And this is just Walmart felt. This is not wool felt or anything like that. You don't have to. You could use fabric. You could do that. So stitching up the bottom part. And if you need to add more of the fill, you just, as you get closer to closing it. I realized I didn't bring my paint because I could show you what I did. I might. Let's see how close I have over there. I may be able to grab it and just show you what I did to kind of embellish it. But you can embellish the ear, you know, or around the neck line, which I did. on, well, both of them I did different things. The light pink one I added, you know, around its neck, some trim, you know, that I just got from Hobby Lobby, and a little paper flower up here. This one I made a bow, that the bow is going with the ribbon in a wreath that's going to go out tomorrow. Or you don't have to put anything on at all. You can just make it look like a regular Peep. This one I experimented and sprayed. You can't really see it. I don't want to get blurry. But I sprayed some of that sparkly, I didn't want to do glitter, but I wanted to give it a little bit of shine. Well, I really didn't like, maybe I sprayed it on too much in one layer. But I was done. You know, it covered the bow, and it covered the, you know, the eyes and stuff. I was like, all right, I didn't like that. So, all right. So what else is everybody doing? Just catching lives? I was saying we had a bunch of rain, turned to snow, wind was blowing this morning, and now the sun's out. Go figure. So I figured normally Sunday would be a day I like to not do a whole lot, but the weekend, I guess, with people maybe in, did a lot of shopping. So I'm grateful, but I didn't expect to be like, oh, well, I got some work to do today. So almost done with this. I don't think I'm going to add any more. I don't need it busting at the seams. But these are so cute, guys. I think kids would love them too. You wouldn't want to give them too small because you don't want anybody chewing on them. Oh, a peach cobbler. Oh, yum. Yeah, you guys got wind too? Yeah. My dog Magic is afraid of the wind. And it's worse like in the summertime because the house is opened. I don't know, maybe because everything's closed up, it wasn't phasing him. He didn't go running and hiding like he normally does. His ears would pop, you know, stick up. But he laid there, and I'm just figuring probably because the house was, the house was closed up, that it didn't bother him like it does during the summertime, and he just freaks out with that. I'm in southern Wisconsin, Janesville, near Madison. That's where I reside right now. I'm from California, Northern California. But this is where I take care of my mother. I stay with her in her home. And I've been a caregiver, full-time caregiver for her for, gosh, it's going on 5 years now. She's going to be 96. 96. Can you believe that? I know I can't. Just a few months. So we have had a ton, and we're supposed to even, I think this week, more snow. I'm just like so ready for spring. Please give me some spring. It's been so weird. We didn't have any snow for Christmas, nothing. I think we had a snowfall around Thanksgiving, or actually before Thanksgiving, in November. And we really had nothing through December, nothing for Christmas. And then all of a sudden, we get hit in January with stuff, and then February, and it's like, oh man. This is embroidery floss, or embroidery thread, yep. And I used, I didn't use the whole strand. I took it apart and used 3 strands. I was just saying, my mom had a bunch of it. I was going through her craft drawers, and she has like 2 big gallon bags of embroidery thread, and I was going to give it away. Hi, Teresa. Yes, right. I'm always on Sue. Sue's a good friend of mine. Actually, last month I was supposed to go see her. I was going to go visit my sister, who relieves me once a year. She's bless her heart, she comes back from California and lets me go home to see my children. She was coming back in January because my mom had that bad fall on Thanksgiving, and then she had all these infections, and she was not doing well. So my sister, she's retired, thought maybe she should come back. So in January, it was like, all right, well, she wasn't going to be here long enough for me to fly back to California. So I thought, why not go visit? You know, somebody I hadn't seen, and, you know, a Facebook friend, and, you know, I wanted to be able to just get out. So I had made plans with Sue, and I was going to come down during the week. I was had a car reserved to rent just because, you know, it was just easier to have a nicer car. Anyways, long story short, weather got, that's before that Arctic freeze we had and all the snow in the Midwest, and so my sister's flight was canceled. And in Chicago, they had an airplane slide off the airway, or the landing strip, and so, yep, I ended up had to cancel that, and her and I were both so terribly disappointed. So I'm going to just do this. So maybe another time. I'd said, you know, I was just debating whether about going back to California, just because sometimes traveling and going somewhere else, and maybe another time. I don't, at this point, I won't be able to, I'm not attending the Wreath Makers Live or anything like that, so I'm not going to have that opportunity to get away, because like I said, I only have one person that relieves me that I could go for any period of time, really, unless we paid somebody to come in, and that just is hard to do. So we've got the Peep, right? And let's see. Let me see if I can just get the pink. We've got. I don't do it much because I figure, you know, Peep's face is pretty. Pretty plain. Let's see. I had. All right. So I'm just going to take a little bit of paint. And let me get a piece of paper. Let me see what I've got. Because I like to do just a little bit on the cheeks, just to give it some cheeky stuff. So just a dab. With this pink, it was darker, and so I used more of a red. This is probably... I think that's what I used for this. You see how I got just a little bit of cheeks? If you haven't already liked my business page, you can do that up in the right corner. If you haven't shared this video, I would greatly appreciate it. It helps small businesses like myself, and since I've been off the radar for a while, I would like to have people know that I'm kind of back on, and I am still alive. All right, so I'm just going to take a little bit of paint, not much, because you want to do this dry brush, right? So I got nothing on this, and no water. I'm just going to kind of just dip my brush in this, and if you guys are painters and you know all about kind of this stuff, this is nothing new to you. But so I'm just going to kind of carefully, and I do know with this, with the felt, it can get a little fuzzed up. So I'm just trying to keep it somewhat circular. You're not going to do perfect. And I do this before I'm going to put any eyes, the eyes and nose on here. So can you kind of see? Oh, I'm sorry, Charlene. She was 88. You'll be blessed. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. It certainly has been an eye-opener and lots of things to have to deal with, considering when you have family. And I come from a large family. But, yeah. I just, you know, want to keep her comfortable, keep her safe. She's had lots of falls and breaks and stuff in these years, and that's what got to the point where we, you know, it was either care for her at home or she was going to have to go into a nursing home. And she's, I know, terrified to death of that. Her parents were in a nursing home, and I don't recall whether I do believe the facility that my grandparents were in was a nice facility. I don't know if she had a bad experience. Oh, you know what? I think she did. Not my mother, my grandparents. When my mom retired after my dad passed away of lung cancer, she had retired from nursing, and then she actually went into one of the nursing homes to volunteer. I think she was giving medication is what she was doing. I don't believe it was one of the better nursing homes in this area. So I think there was still something about my grandparents and what she saw, but I think it just reiterated for her when she saw maybe the conditions in the nursing home she was working in, doing medications for, I don't know, but I just know she's terrified. And I really, if didn't have to have her go through something like that. So I'm just kind of getting the excess. So now I've got puffy paint. You know, if you're handy with the paintbrush and you want to paint a face on there, more power to you. I'm not, I'm just going to use a puffy paint. So, and I don't know if I did very well at the cheeks. So, I'm just going to do, and I know you can't probably see, but sorry, 2 eyes. So you puff paint, you just kind of squirt out and keep the tip into the puff paint. Let's see, to kind of make it bigger. Let's see. I might be off a little bit on this shoot. You see? Yay. So is anybody else watching? Are you guys, anybody else caregivers, or have you done caregiving to a parent or a spouse, loved one? It is a lonely, lonely job. I never would have imagined. And you can't imagine until you do it. It's not something I don't know if I could do again if I had to. I don't know. Okay, so see how that looks? Isn't that stinking cute? Oh my gosh, look at. And I can see one eye is higher than the other. Oh darn. Let's see. I don't know if I can fix it. I've got some sticks, but they got glue on them. I don't want to mess it up. Shoot. Yeah. That's all right. It's not something that has to be perfect. There's that perfectionism coming out in me. But see how cute that is? Isn't that? And then I let these dry, the puffs, before I put any other embellishments, because that you touch that and you'll muck up. It'll muck up. And I let it dry overnight because with the puff paint, because it's so thick that I'm gonna just kind of put this up since. There we go. Yay! Here we are. The puff paint, it takes a little while to dry because it's so thick. And if you're trying to put any kind of embellishments or anything on it, there's a good chance you're going to stick your finger, your hand in there. But I wanted to be able to get the cheeks on first. But isn't that, oh, sorry, adorable. Thanks, Dora. Thanks, Teresa. If you guys haven't already, I'd love it if you shared this video. I think people would just love to see how these look. Look at this. I'm going to put this one aside just so I don't muck it up. I know that I had, let me just set it aside. But these were the other ones. Look at that. Aren't they cute? So cute, cute. So imagine those, you know, in your kids' or grandkids' Easter basket, in a wreath, which this one's going in a flower arrangement. You could actually, you can take a stick, you know, if you have the shish kebab skewer, right, or a floral pick, you can actually, you know, I don't know if well, you could the big ones too. But you can, oh, thank you, Teresa. You can just put the skewer, you know, in between the threads, up in between, right? I don't know how fuzzy it's going to get. Some people get weird about like the violated thing. It's like, all right, let's get over it. This is plush stuff. So you would put the bunny, the skewer in there, and then I would certainly put some hot glue around the bottom, and then you can cut it off. You know, and I would probably put it up farther just so it makes sure it's stable. Thank you, Teresa. Bless you guys. Appreciate it. So it's pretty stable. And then I would add hot glue on the bottom. And then that way you've got a pick to put in your floral arrangements. Maybe you're wondering how you could attach it. Such a bright light with a wreath. You could actually probably attach it into a wreath like this, but you could also just thread through you know, a pipe cleaner or a wire. You know, if you need to, you could use the ice pick and just put a hole through the back, put a pipe cleaner through it, and attach it onto a grapevine wreath, or in your mesh wreaths. You know, you could just glue it in. They're so lightweight, it's not going to. I don't think it's not going to hurt anything whatsoever. So that is all I got for you for today. But I think that's fun. You know, there's other embellishments. I said I had done Easter eggs. This is heart, but it's so bright. But Easter egg, you know, I did these kind of things, and these were so fun to do, to add to my wreaths. And people loved the detail. So, anyways. Oh, how did I make the stencil for the wreath, Teresa? Google. Go to Google. And this was the average size, I think, that it came with. Google a Peep printout, and you can get a download free. Okay, so this was the small one, and it came out, so you can see images, you can get free downloads, all that stuff. You can do that for just about anything. So this, and then to get the bigger one, I just upsized it. This was 100%. For the big one, I did 150%. The 200% was way bigger than my 8x10 page. You're welcome, Charlene. Thank you for joining. And so just print it out, and then if you want a bigger Peep, you know, just increase the size to print, but this is perfect for these small ones. Yep. That's it. So Google, and do the little Peeps. And there you have it. So I am so grateful you all joined me. It was lots of fun. Now I've got this one to get into a wreath and another one to make. Hi, Sue. How are you? We were just talking about you. And that I was going to come and visit you in January, but that fell through. So just making some Peeps. Share the video, everybody. I appreciate it. You guys have a great Sunday, and thanks for joining me. And look forward. I don't have an alert yet. You know, you can, if you want to follow my lives, hopefully if you're watching it from an iPhone or a Droid, there should have been something in your feed that it says if you want to be notified when this page goes live, you could click on that, and it will actually notify you. Facebook will actually notify you that I'm going live. So I don't miss lives when I have that notification set up on Facebook. I don't prefer alerts, just because then people all times during the day and night. So yeah. Okay. Well, again, thanks for joining me, everybody. Have a great Sunday, and we will see you again soon. Thanks again. Bye.